Hello, so we are going to talk about your writer's workflow, or in other words, how you're going to avoid feeling overwhelmed and how you're actually going to stay on track for your writing goals. Okay, it's going to sound a bit preachy, because my life is so perfect. I have this done perfectly. Obviously, I get it wrong. Everybody's going to get it wrong. There is no wrong to get, okay? It's about learning to manage your creative passions and your life to focus on what really matters. And there are some things that are just going to be the same for everybody, okay? It doesn't matter what kind of writing you're doing, you are going to have to pay attention to these things. So that is what we talk about for workflow, so that you don't end up overwhelmed and so that life is happier, basically. So let's have a look. In essence, it goes back to this idea that there are 4 key areas for writing success. 1 is the creative side, the actual writing and editing. 2 is the networking. It's getting to know the people who are going to help connect you to where you want to be, where you want your words to be, your writing, the whole point of it. Number 3 is understanding the process. So do you need to pitch? Do you need a book synopsis? Do you need to show sales? What do you need to do from a process point of view? Even if you don't want to sell your writing, if you're writing to self-publish your memoirs that you want to leave to your grandchildren, you're still going to actually need to know the process behind self-publishing, and you're going to have to work out how to get your words off the hard drive and into the book. So there's a process for everything. And then finally, there's the goose that laid the golden egg. There's actually taking care of yourself, which sounds a bit boring. So instead, we're going to call it the writer's rocket fuel. But the thing is, you can't just suddenly dip into any and each of these and expect success. And despite that, that's almost what we all do, okay? We think we need to work harder, so we're going to flurry of one and a flurry of the other, whereas actually it's regular, persistent attention to each of these areas that's actually what pays off, and that's actually keeps the whole show on the road. Now, don't worry before I go through these if you think, well, but I can't just do a little bit, check in every now and again on my networking because I don't know where to start, okay? I haven't got a clue. I'm going to have to spend ages researching where I even need to go to look to find the networking. Don't worry about that, okay? The idea isn't that you go through each of these points, each of these areas, and you wait for perfection in each one before going to the next, because that's never going to happen. When we look at children, which I do a lot at the moment with my daughter, we don't think that toddlers are awful because they can only toddle about and they've only got a few words. We think it's amazing, okay? Then we would think it would be amazing, we would think it would be really disturbing if we saw a toddler that hadn't learnt to walk or sit up, but instead had reached the fluency of a 5-year-old or an 8-year-old, who could talk to you and chatter to you like that, but they hadn't worked on their gross motor skills. They hadn't learnt to walk, they hadn't learnt to run, they maybe had no emotional skills. We wouldn't see that as a sign of strength. We'd be concerned. And really, human endeavours are no different in any other field. You need to keep working on the 4 areas regularly, and together that's how you grow to great success, okay? Don't beat yourself up because you're not at the top in one area or any area yet. Just keep circling and cycling around each of them till you are strong in each of them, and then you need to build up your maintenance schedule. So maintenance schedule sounds, like plumbing, but monthly. So once a month, you need to check in on your networking, your pitch process, and your inspiration. So you don't necessarily have to go to a networking event once a month. You might find that for you, actually, social media, something like Twitter, that's perfect. That's all the networking you need to get your name out there and build a platform and connect with readers. And maybe you need to do that on a daily basis, but you're only going to think about your strategy there once a month, and you're going to base it on stats. If that's the case, you're going to look at your Twitter stats. So you're going to bookmark a time once a month where you do that, or where you check once a month and say, oh, okay, what are the conferences in my industry this year and which am I going to? And am I on track for them? And the joy of doing this once a month is that you don't miss a conference to the last minute, and you also don't waste too much time wondering about, should you be going to every conference? Should you be responding to every tweet? Should you, in fact, forget Twitter? Maybe you're supposed to be on Facebook, or is it Instagram stories, and getting completely sidetracked from the other work you need to do. So once a month, have a date with yourself in your diary and have a look at your networking. Likewise, your pitching process. Okay, pitching is something that you have to keep trying at to get any good at for some reason, and having a bit of a gap is good for that. So pitch and then follow up. Some industries you might have to do it more than once a month. You might have to do, particularly news industries, you're going to have to follow up faster. But instead of dithering and worrying and chasing up editors all the time for your work, I would just say once a month or once a fortnight, check in. Who are you pitching? Have they got back to you? Is there a pattern? Is there any feedback? Who are you going to pitch to next? Move on. Okay. And inspiration I've got down once a month, because so much of these routines and workflows and getting organised is all about taking care of the boring things. But when we forget to take care of things that really matter to us, that really inspire us, then we find things fall apart in the end anyway. So once a month, have something in your diary that really inspires you. And that's obviously a really personal thing. Now with writing, it could be reading from your favourite novel. It could be watching TV. It could be nothing traditionally creative. It could just be getting together with friends and going mountain biking in the mud or baking something. But do something. Not that just you enjoy, because I am stricter than that, but something that you know that when you finish it, you feel inspired. And it's the kind of thing you can't suddenly do. It's not a quick and sudden walk in nature, because I want you to pepper your days with that as much as you can. It's something that is going to take a bit more planning and a bit more organisation, but we finish and you're like, wow, I actually now have the problem. I have more ideas than I know what to do with. I can't wait to get back to work. I've got ideas overflowing. Brilliant. And notice what those things are and schedule them in at least once a month. Next up, what should you be doing on a weekly or daily basis? And let's face it, this should be work days mainly. And admin, let's start at the bottom of this slide. Admin is the one that we all often, it's so easy to get carried away with admin, isn't it? You get up, you check your email, you were just going to do it quickly, you're just going to see if there was something urgent there, and maybe there was, maybe it was medium urgent, but you've lost some of your time for that day or for that work session. So you do need to take care of your admin daily, either you or someone else who you can hire. But my suggestion is, if at all possible, don't do it till lunchtime. Okay, this is one of the best habits that I've got into, or halfway through your time, whatever time you have available for your writing work. Never do it at the start. Okay, very, very few things in this world are so urgent that they need you right away. Some clients are, some news things are, but really most aren't. If someone sent you an email about a piece of work in the morning, they can pretty much wait till lunchtime. That morning should be protected for your creative time, unless you've discovered you're more creative at another point, like we discussed another day. But whatever your block of creativity is, protect it with your life. Okay, so for a lot of people, that's first thing in the morning. The morning chunk is when they're clearest, least distracted, and write and edit half your time with that, with everything else off. Okay, and then use the afternoon for these other things, or the other half of your creative time, and that is dealing with your email admin, following up with your monthly tasks that we've talked about, and exercise. Not every day, although a walk would be quite good, but certainly don't miss it out. Really, this is the kind of maintenance that will keep you going, that will keep your ideas going. Okay, we need decent blood flow, we need good arteries, and forgive the doctor in me, but exercise really is the way to go. Forget the romantic alcoholic writers. That is not good. There's so many successful writers who haven't had to destroy themselves. Please take care of yourselves. Please do exercise. It's fun, it's inspiring, it leaves you feeling better about life. Okay, so that is the writer's workflow. Thanks for watching.